On to another episode of our podcast. It has been a long time. We didn't really have the time to do many during the season and winter because of 6 days. But hopefully we're back for good with a few more podcasts coming your way this season. Welcome to Carrick, of course, to Rebel today, very special guest for our podcast. And Marby, as always. We're finally back and we have something very interesting in store for you. But first of all, let's start with how you've spent the last month without VCS. It has been a way too long of a time, and that's with our first ever winter split. So I'm already missing VCS because if I watch any of the other leagues, I fall asleep. Rebel, let's start with you. How have you been doing?
Yeah, I'm finding the more and more I watch professional League of Legends, I just get bored with it. But then you go and you watch like shenanigans on old VCS, but also like any of the like external leagues, things like the LFL have really been piquing my interest as of late. So just watching some of the supplemental leagues is fantastic. LCK Challengers had like, I think they literally defined the meta for the LCK. LCK was like, oh yeah, that's what we need to do, and follow their own academy teams. But yeah, everything else is fantastic, right?
Yeah, look, I'm just happy that I've been let out of the defroster. You know, as soon as the final ended, I was put on ice, not allowed to do anything else. So I'm finally free. Been busy because I haven't actually watched much professional league because I've been busy moving or getting ready to move rather. And LEC starts at 3 a.m. my time, so no thanks. And LPL is on Lunar New Year break, so I haven't watched a huge amount of professional league. I've watched some of it when I can, but so far, I mean, look, Chemtech Rift is gone, so I mean, I'm happy. That's
Everyone
literally
is.
all I care about because I hated that. That still remains the worst thing they've ever added to League of Legends.
Marby first, but something just came to mind. But Marby, let's finish with you.
Overall, yeah, I'm for the most part enjoying the sort of extended game times. We're moving more into the like later game fights with more late game AD carries, a bit more less of this game is over a 15 minutes thing. So that has reignited my love for the LCK podcast. I can just sort of chuck it on second monitor, sort of just flick back and forth between it. I haven't been really getting into it, like just studying it. I've been taking my time off. But you know, I have to get back to it. Things are coming.
That's fair enough. I just something just crossed my mind. Will the VCS be forever the only professional league where a team won against Chemtech Seoul?
No, I'm fairly sure it happened.
I'm pretty sure someone else did.
Probably.
I think
I didn't see any games where that happened.
I think I remember people talking about, OMG, how did this team lose?
Oh, maybe. Okay.
I think in the LPL,
might be one of two.
I think LPL had one where it was like they got the soul, but they lost the team fight immediately afterwards. They overcommitted to the soul, and then so they technically lost with it, but it didn't actually impact.
We actually lost the game on the broken Chemtech Soul, though, so that's forever the prerogative of the VCS. We can lose games even with broken Chemtech Soul. Let's go.
I mean, the VCS can lose games with anything. I wouldn't be surprised if the VCS could lose a game where they destroy the enemy nexus. They'd figure it out. They'd find a way.
That 1 HP nexus defense from V5.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Look, I do think that the current meta. I agree with you, Marby. It's like I think some of the picks are terrible. Some of the picks that are viable make me want to die, but the actual game length and stuff, I'm enjoying it so far.
What have you done?
How have you been?
Yeah, I don't know. I took a little bit of a break as well, like Marby. Just had finished my first cast of the year this week actually. But other than that, I'm just missing VCS. Not much happening in my life other than VCS, so I just want to get back. It's
sorry, I'm being attacked.
Staring at LEC games with one kill at 10 minutes is just not fulfilling at all. I need more action.
Not okay with that. Definitely, yeah, the 1 kill a minute, like that's a minimum at this point. We've been born in it, molded by it. So yeah, but yeah, look, VCS is back soon though. This week, today is Sunday, and it's Friday that we will be back finally. I'm so happy.
I'm a little shocked because in coming back, I was looking through like the contract database and also like the rosters that we'll get into a little bit later. But more importantly, the number of swaps that we had just during this offseason felt incredible because we were literally walking out of the winter split where it felt like I thought we were essentially running back what we were going to have in winter split and getting a second version of it, but instead we just have so much that's like getting changed, especially like names coming back, which I think is the big thing for me that defines a lot of what's about to happen. Also, I want to rewind really quick back to another point. You said that Chemtech Soul was the worst thing they ever put in the game. I don't disagree with you. But then, yeah, Chemtech Rift, my apologies, was the worst thing they ever put in the game. But then Renata came out, and I remember I was in a call when I saw the champion's abilities, and I was like, this champion's not real, right? Like, somebody fabricated these abilities. Like, this is just like, this is post-hoc. Like, there's no way. And then they released it. I was like, okay, I don't know what they're doing anymore.
Oh, it's like, not released yet, right? So.
I mean, they're not going to fundamentally rework her at this point. I have a conspiracy theory about Renata. You know I love my conspiracy. Am I allowed to share it? Am I allowed to go into my conspiratorial thinking?
Please.
So, her numbers, particularly on her W, at the moment, are poo. It's actually a shit ability at the moment. Could get buffed, numbers can be changed, but it's not a good... It's got like a 16-second cooldown, and it's less than a Lulu Whimsy in terms of attack speed. Of course, it does have the revive tacked on there. I have a conspiracy theory that
Whimsy is a pretty good ability.
Well, hear me out. The way that the revive works means that what is likely to happen is you just instantly die again, because...
Oh yeah, for sure. It's 35% of your HP.
Exactly.
If you put that on an ADC, that's like 200 HP.
Exactly. So, I have a conspiracy theory that Renata's going to come out and she's going to be dog shit. And she's going to be really bad, never picked in pro play, cheese pick in solo queue, she's going to be crap. And then Riot will be like, see, it's fine.
See?
What's the issue? What's the issue? Revives aren't broken. The big undodgeable ultimate that makes you kill your own team, that's fine. And then they'll put it on a basic ability. And then that champion that they put it on a basic ability will actually be tuned correctly. And then we're just stuck with it. They'll be like, oh, well, Renata's not broken.
And I go back to one-tricking Braum to just block that fucking ult.
Yeah, fuck that ult. Yeah. I have a conspiracy theory that she's going to come out, she's going to be tuned really low, and she's going to be terrible, and then people will be like, oh, see, the mechanics are fine. It's like, no, her numbers are just terrible. I'm convinced. Because a similar thing happened with Akshan. Everyone was like, Akshan's terrible because of his revive thing. He came out and his numbers were terrible. And now they've buffed him, and suddenly, oh, it's a problem. Weird.
And the interesting thing about Akshan is it's not the revive that's the problem.
The revive
it's this insane early game laning phase that's the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
I played some Akshan games, and my god, that damage is not okay. I played against a Kiana, she tried to trade with me. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, she died very easily.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. That's my conspiracy. That's my conspiracy rantings. You know, I could go for hours on, all my conspiracies. The moon's not real. But we'll move swiftly on. I like everything else about Renata. Her actual artistic design, 10 out of 10. One of the coolest champions visually for a long time. I really like her.
But let's get into it. Rebel, do you want to introduce what you have in store for us today here?
Yeah. So it's been a while. I've gotten a chance to do this. My upcoming, when it came to actually working inside of broadcasting, started in fantasy football, and so I'm dragging that everywhere that I possibly can, and that's coming to the VCS. So as a way of discussing all these massive roster changes, as a way of introducing all of the new players, all of the roster changes that happened during the offseason here between the winter and the spring split. We're going to be doing a fantasy draft where all four of us here are going to have the opportunity to pick players that we think would fit together on a team. We're going to go through 6 rounds. That means we're crafting a whole team plus 1 substitute player from all of the players that currently exist inside the contract database that exist for the VCS. So that's every player on a roster, some of the ones off of rosters, all their substitutes, everybody's up for grabs. Whether or not they get taken, that's up for debate, whatever the situation may be. But we're going to get some interesting decisions as well, because I'm sure somebody's going to pick something that Yolway doesn't like, and he's going to have a reason for it. So,
okay. I'll present the table. It's not the most beautiful graphic. Apologies. It's just a Google sheet, but it should be functional. So here are all the players grouped with their positions. Obviously, we have a lot of top laners. Actually, we have many junglers and mid laners. A little bit fewer supports and bot laners, but more than enough to fill 4 teams. So we shouldn't. Why is there Ribble? Who is Ribble? And who is Pete?
Wait, what?
He's a Buffalo.
Yeah, P is Buffalo's sub mid laner, isn't it?
And this is Buffalo sub jungler. I just
Wait, we're missing an L on that
What?
name. Okay, that's better. Yeah, these are the new substitute players for Saigon Buffalo. Also, really quick, in the contract database, it is actually said that Big Koro is currently signed to Saigon Buffalo.
That's
Sure.
That's what I thought. Okay, I wanted to make sure. So this wasn't on the sheet that we were provided. So
the
I
thing
just wanted to
with
make sure
Big
that was the
Koro
case.
is currently, it's looking like he's probably in a sub/positional
Coaching,
coach
yeah,
kind of
positional
thing.
coach.
Kind of like how
That's
Poss was actually.
That's
in
fair.
the last split, so
Okay.
not the best draft, even though Big Koro is a pretty good player. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Big Koro as a starter on a team, but yeah.
I think he's technically happily retired. He's just
Yeah,
Oh.
I think he's just. I can do a little bit of work to help out.
Shogun
All
gets
right.
by a truck. I will play.
Speaking of, something that also makes this a little bit more, I think kind of timely is I'm going to put up 30-second timers. You have 30 seconds to make every single pick. So when I put somebody on
all right.
this is just to make sure that somebody's not taking 40 minutes to make a decision, right?
I like
So,
this. Put us on
I'm
the
gonna-
clock.
But
I'm gonna
we
kick
should.
The first thing,
Sorry. Go,
What's up?
No, I'm gone.
do you have a timer to be able to put on the screen?
Probably, yeah. But we should probably take a few minutes to discuss our choices after, I don't know, every 2 rows? Every row?
So
Oh.
after we go through each of us, we'll
Mm-hmm.
stop, talk about them, and that's not going to be timed,
Yeah.
obviously.
And then one more quick note, also, just so you guys know, because fantasy drafts are snakes, so that means I'm sure all 4 of you know this, but to explain this to anybody who might not know, the order starts Mobby to myself to Yolway to Carrix, and then second round we're reversing that, so it's going to be Carrix, Yolway, Rebel, Mobby, and we're going to keep going back and forth just to make sure it's not one person getting the first pick of every single round, because that's unfair, and Mobby gets the best team. So,
I deserve it.
all right, yes, you got Pippin. That's unfair.
It's true. It is okay.
All
But
right,
anyway,
so
are we ready to get underway? Marley, do you have your first?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't pick,
you're on the clock. So.
Give me a sec to actually add the timer to the stream as well.
Okay.
I don't think we don't really need to put it on screen. It's just a formality. Rebel can just yell at us.
Let's just be timely with the picks. Yeah, I'm not gonna make any forcing moves. That's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Rebel
Okay.
can just yell for us. All right, let's go. Marby, your first pick.
Thing. Yeah, that's the obvious one.
Yeah.
What do you want from me?
Yep, yeah, of course. League MVP.
This is how I was just gonna drag the whole box over. See, now I got problems. Oh
Wait, what? Did something break?
no.
Oh, you wanted to drag the name?
Oh, right.
Yeah, I figure you
can
just
do?
take the whole box. That way, it's off the list entirely.
Is that a thing you can do?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You just take the whole box.
We should probably
Oh.
give these different colors, I think, to make it easy to
Ooh,
see.
Ego is a bold pick. We can touch on why at the end of this round. but
Do this.
that is a bold pick.
Oh,
all right.
okay, that's two.
Okay, not that
Yeah,
blue, please.
little blue one now.
Can you guys tell that we put in a lot of pre-work to get
We're
this
doing a
podcast
lot
going?
here. Okay,
This
it's
looks good.
great.
It's all right.
Ah, that's
We're
nice.
cracking on.
Okay.
Make sure that you.
Oh, it's my turn.
All right.
It
Yeah.
is your turn.
This is my intriguing one. See, the hardest picks are these ones directly after Artemis, because Artemis is like the slam dunk, right? Every one of us wanted Artemis, so that was gonna be number one. But then after that, there's so many things to consider about what your next pick is gonna be.
It's true. There is a lot of tactics to go on.
Mm-hmm.
We got a request.
Respectable.
We got a request to not have it to be blindingly cyan, so I made it red.
Now we have three
Okay.
different types of red, but it's fine.
Okay, whatever. Can you see the difference your way?
I
That's
can,
what
but
all right, it's my
there are
turn. It's my
colorblind
turn.
people in this world, you know?
Yeah, me.
Oh, well, okay, fair enough.
All right, I'm gonna go.
You can see the
How do
difference.
you drag the box? Oh, like that. I'm just gonna go boring. Lock it away. Boring and safe.
Reasonable.
Why is he in cursive? Is there a reason for that?
I don't. For some reason, he is
I
on the
think it- I
sheet as
think it
well,
was
so I
because
copied and
when
pasted the
we-
sheet.
I think it's when we made the other sheet, he was still possibly going abroad, so there was
Yeah.
like a maybe Levi. All right, so I get a second pick immediately.
Yes.
So
Well,
I have to
take a
make a
second.
team, of course.
Yeah, you're making a whole team, so you need one of each position.
Is there
and then you'll need a
another-
substitute.
Okay, can we pick whatever we want, or is there another thing, another restriction, like only two players from one
There's-
team, or anything?
No,
like
there's
that?
no other restriction.
No
You're just
other
making
restriction.
the best team. If you want to draft all 5 players from one team, you're welcome to do so.
Okay.
All right, so we've done our 4. I think there's nothing particularly controversial here. Kiaya being the first taken top laner, maybe slightly controversial, but it's your wave.
Excuse
The
me, what?
biggest Kiaya fanboy on planet.
What did you just say? How is that controversial?
I mean, there's some other top laners that are on an upwards trajectory. But yeah, okay, Kiaya is still the best.
Only because Kiaya came off one of his worst, one of his
No.
lesser. Yeah, I
I
had
just
him
don't
around.
agree.
I had him around like a third place, but out of like third top laner.
Yeah,
But
because people are too stupid to vote, yeah.
people are just, I think, kind of very lackluster.
Okay, but the big one is: do we touch on the ego elephant in the room?
Yeah, probably should.
Ego's a naughty boy. He's a very naughty boy that did a stinky on social media that's getting really overblown, in my opinion at least. So there's potential that he might get suspended or even dropped from Cerberus. If that happens, I'm done with this region because
Yeah.
nothing... To give a very summed up message for the drama, he was a pillock on social media, but he wasn't like racist or anything like that. He was just, he tried to pretend to be a lot cooler than he really is and told some lies. Pillock move, real dumbass energy, but who cares?
Out of
He's a kid.
out of respect specifically, if the 3 of you would prefer this be something that's at least tossed off to the side so I can bring in a different player. Because I don't know, because it's possible my team just gets ruined. Because if we revisit this later in the split and all of a sudden he's not playing, my team looks like garbage.
I think we can just give you a big asterisk if that happens because it shouldn't.
It would shock me. It would just shock me if he wouldn't if he didn't play. He's the best jungler, or at least one of the best junglers in the region. You can't just get rid of him after winning a title with him.
I think he'll play. The only thing is it might impact the team dynamic. That is the only thing that could happen. But I don't think he was going to be dropped straight away. Like if it, because Rono P I think said he had issues with him, but I think so if the team falls apart, he might get benched for an attitude problem rather than
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right, good to know for the future. All right.
Ready for the second
I
round?
don't think he'll go. Yep, let's go.
Okay.
All right. Oh, see, I've got a bold pick.
Do it. This is the time for bold picks. There's
But-
literally no ramifications to this.
It might be too bold. You don't
there's-
understand. It might make me
there's
look
a thing.
No, don't take him
There's
away
a
from
thing.
me.
All
Is
right.
this thing?
It's making
See, that's
my,
how bold that was my pick.
Taki.
It got back to me. Yeah.
I'm taking Taki. He's so good, and I mean, look, they didn't look good last split, but I have faith in him as a player.
Taki always
God, I love my
fucking
team, man.
Immediate. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Give me my team, please.
I mean, this is literally
This is the
just
fanboy
Goulet
team,
picking-
yeah.
Goulet just picking his players, and he's like, I like this one.
All right.
No, I actually have reasoning for this one, but I can tell you afterwards.
That with that taken, yeah, that's a B take.
Ah, that's not great. Unlucky.
Yeah, the support pool's going a little bit dry.
Yeah.
Look, I actually think the support pool's pretty strong in VCS, so even like a
One of the
mid-tier
reasons
support
I
is
didn't
still
go for it.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Bad, but the top 3, there's a bit of a drop.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The top 3 is definitely better than the rest, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do we? I don't. So, what's your reasoning for Almene?
So I
don't
looked
think
at
the rest
all.
of us have to justify much.
So I looked at all the other roles and was like, where's the biggest drop from the available players to whatever is going to be left for me? And mid lane has 4 good players, so it doesn't really make sense to pick mid lane first, because all 4 of them are more than fine. I mean, some of them are better than others, and you have stylistic differences, but you have exactly 4 good players, and we have 4 people drafting. Jungle, 2 of them are gone. There are 2 or 3 good junglers left, so it doesn't really make sense. And I think ADC has the biggest drop. Now, you could argue Slater, Celebrity, Eddie, Shogun, all good players, but I think Almina is a cut above those, so I wanted to make sure to have a decent ADC.
Interesting. All right. I think the supports, they explain themselves, so we can just crack on immediately into round 3. Marby, you're off the rank first.
The fanboy is taking hold.
Let's
I
go.
mean, honestly, a good pick.
Good pick, yeah.
Genuinely, I think that's a solid pick. I mean,
One of my players to
And-
watch, for sure.
yeah, 100%. Rebel, you're up.
That's
That's actually the first mid laner to get taken.
yeah.
I mean, that's bold.
See, what I could do is ruin everyone's day by making a run on mid laners, because then either Yowei takes one, or he's forced into one of the top 4. He already said he has one of the top 4, but like,
I mean, look, I've got my man Parquet. Give him here. No one booms a mental like Parquet.
Getting my
That-
high quality mid laner Yoshino.
Yeah, booms,
Harvey.
booms the mental of your own code when you pick Parker,
Yeah,
probably. Yeah. Or the rest of the players, top laners, for example.
Alright.
Poor Yoshi.
Oh, poor
Shogun.
Yoshino.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Saigon Buffalo players going fairly quick.
So,
Buffalo bot lane going very quick.
actually
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, this is more of a stylistic thing. I have a very strong, 2 very strong laners. I think I have to go Yado. Current meta, he's just too good.
Yeah.
And Kati could be a better fit for my team, stylistically.
Do I
but-
kamikaze? Do I kamikaze my entire
Why?
team and take
Froggy.
Froggy?
No, don't.
What's wrong with Froggy?
His stats?
ACS.
So you can't
You
take
don't
him
need
away
stats.
from Rebel.
Yeah,
alright.
I think I have to take a mid laner. I'm just gonna grab Cardi.
So-
he's on the best team.
So why Glory first? I get Glory, right? Glory's top 4.
So
Why Glory first?
So, as I said, the fangirl took over. Like Yado is probably objectively better, but I really like Glory. That's it.
We will need to table this into after we do this little bit, because there will come a time where we need to discuss what happened with BTS, because that team went really, really well. They placed 3rd, right? They beat Luxury
Yeah.
at the last possible
Yeah.
opponent.
They came third.
No one was thinking that was going to happen. No one thought they were
No.
even going to be close to that. So we're going to have that discussion once we're done with this. But yeah,
For
this is
sure.
of interest to me to talk about later.
But second,
absolutely.
second half
We've got a
Glory
lot
was
to-
really good, so I can see the argument
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, I think there, like Marby admitted it, there was some fangirling to take glory over Yardo.
Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, I respect it. I respect it. We can go straight into the next round. Oh, that means it's me. Oh, I mean,
By the way, Kerrix, are you going for some sort of naming style?
No.
All of your players have 4 letters and end on a I.
well,
Oh,
unfortunately,
okay.
we've just
You ruined
it.
it. Oh no.
There's no top laner. There's no top
True.
laner.
Could go Ryuk or Emperor, but yeah, I mean.
God damn it.
Okay, I'm missing jungle and support, and both of them.
Oh, are you gonna steal him? Can you do
Yeah.
that? Is that legal?
Drafting 2 players from the same position to take somebody else's position, it absolutely is legal. Like if somebody took Blazes right now, I would be seething. But
What are you talking about? You're going froggy, right?
But you
Oh,
could get P.
Blazes.
You could get P.
All right.
Can you actually just be named P?
Yes.
Yeah,
Like I assumed there was some guy. Like, why haven't we had a single letter player before?
We have. Well, not in VCS, but
You,
there used to be
yeah.
a like you
Yeah, you
think
was
they-
actually quite good, yeah.
at the same time at one point, but
Fair enough. I did not. I did not spot you.
he was from like 2014.
Yeah, old
I was
Trustus.
nearly.
I know, which no one.
I was barely out of the womb.
EDG, right? Or OMG? I don't remember. EDG, I think.
Not I think EDG.
Yeah,
OMG was still cool.
cool. For a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the last choice is pretty straightforward, so let's just crack on with it.
Yeah, that's.
Well, we've got to pick our sub, but
Yeah, we can do that a little bit
question
later.
of whether I want to ruin someone else's day here by taking a substitute from their position and ruining my own selection.
Now, where's I have a question. Do I want?
I can't.
I think-
Seriously, bud.
Go for the get a strong weak side. I'll just play around the rest.
I like your team.
I do like the idea because your way was like, oh, this is a stylistic thing. It's like, guys, they're not actually playing together. I
No.
don't know if you know how fantasy works.
Oh, fair enough.
Real fantasy, but
I mean, we're not looking at stats. We're more looking at a good team.
Yeah, we're
right?
not pulling
So-
stats. We're not pulling.
It's
Yeah, this
true.
isn't like a team.
I'm
looks
just,
scraggly.
I
This
am
is a
just,
theory.
I actually really like Marby's team, but we can talk about this later.
yeah, I think Marby's put together a pretty good
Oh,
crack.
it's my turn.
It is your turn. You need a support. Will you take Bisbo, the best support?
Will you take Huber?
collect.
I want Zin, actually. But I'm not sure if he's good.
I mean, when was the last time Zin played?
Yeah, unfortunately, he was good.
He
Though.
was.
CBL
I
or
like how
Elio?
he literally just got kicked off guard because he was too loud.
I mean, he was very loud though. I was present in some of the World's Games 2019, and holy shit, you could hear him. You could hear him up where I was sitting. That was insane. That dude was screaming.
All right, I need an ADC. Oh, see, I could take a risk.
Oh, yeah.
Kaiser's meta.
Do it.
Not really.
Do it.
Yeah, Kaiser's meta. Slater's the pick.
Let's go.
Ice's meta, so he picked Slater, and he's going to end every game on it.
He's gonna pick it a lot though.
But he'll end on
And
it.
every now and then, another team will get baited into banning his Kaiser, which is never a good idea. Let him play it, he's bad. And then he'll pick Ezreal, and when he's on Ezreal, he's the best ADC in the league. He never picks it, but he's got a really good Ezreal.
Alright. So we have main rosters. I guess this is the prime time to do a run through.
Yeah, so
I
We've
think the
got-
optimal place to like go back and discuss is after all 6 players have been taken. I want to just like deep dive into each person's team. Is what I want to do here because I have so many
Alright.
questions.
we'll round it out.
Go
So
on.
a sub,
A substitute.
okay.
Hmm.
I'm gonna use my sub to say this is an oddball who I actually reckon might be pretty good. that a fair way to do it? I think it is.
Sure.
So,
However you want. You can justify however you want.
All right. In that case, I'm taking the Big Bane.
Maybe you have leave one slot open so we can see what the main roster is. I think that'd be nice.
Oh, sure.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right. Marcus. All right. Okay,
Wow.
we're gonna have to talk about that.
All right. This is a write-in.
You just made up this player. Hello? You created the player and then took him. What is this?
You better believe it. You're right. I would do that.
do that.
I just did.
You can't do that.
So that wasn't
I just
actually.
did.
I don't think that finesse was visible on stream. I think you did it in a box at the bottom. He just wrote Yashiro in and immediately drafted him.
Yeah, hold on. Let me change this. Hold on. Let me put another sub on my team. There we go.
Doom. Let's go, boys. It's just popping off.
Yeah, okay.
Alright,
Yeah, sure. I mean, why would you pick Chovy? Don't you want to win games?
No.
Anyway, no, I'm fine with you taking Yashiro. You've been talking about Yashiro for like a year. You can have it.
Pun
Oh, I
success.
see. I see what you
You're really
did.
gonna
I
succeed
see what you
on
did
with Boss
here.
right there. Okay.
Success hinges on Boss not playing, but being a substitute.
Boss is the best backup top laner in the world.
Yeah.
But he can't start.
To never play a game.
He's
Never
not allowed
he's
to
never allowed to
play.
play a game.
I mean, I like that Cerberus announced that Poss was going to play like 6 times. And once it was true. And then we actually asked, like, so what's going on with Poss? It's like, oh yeah, he just spends like 4 hours a day playing random 1v1s against Pun. It's like, oh, now that's why Pun's good. That makes sense. Alright, so
Actually,
now
it's
we
quite
can
funny
organise
to
our
look at
team.
the right part.
Yeah,
Look
right.
at where we took players from. It's basically all the top teams, and then some exceptions here and there, especially in
I'm surprised
ADC. But
I made he got picked.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll write it in. That's a good point. Alright, let's put our actual teams in their positions.
There we go.
Rakan, I swear to God. Stop. I know we're not on cameras right now, but he's trying to eat my microphone. You're not allowed to spread your propaganda.
Good boy, Pippin.
You're full of lies. You've never told the truth in your life. Alright. So that's all of our lineups. You're gonna have to scroll the thing down just a little bit.
So I guess we'll go team by team, and we'll start with Mobby because Mobby was like the #1 pick. So what is? First off, I don't know who. Like, how do we feel about Mobby's team competitively against our teams right now?
this is just a CES clone.
Yeah.
If you're honest, it's just a CES clone.
It's old Cerberus with Zhuhao, essentially, because Drakthar is much more like how Zhuhao used to play than...
I feel like Cerberus clone's a great description, and Glory had a great split, but Glory's not Yato. So I feel like it's just a worse version of Cerberus.
Actually, a very different champion pool in mid lane. Glory plays much more aggressively. He doesn't really play the mages as much. If you wanted a Cerberus clone, Blazes would be the more obvious replacement for Yado, I guess. So it's a little bit different, especially in the mid-jungle department. Mid is more aggressive than Cerberus, and jungle is less aggressive than Cerberus.
Yeah, I think it's gonna play out more or less how... I think it's very much just current BTS with a vastly improved bot lane and a vastly improved top lane. So, like, because that's pretty much how they end up playing. They play like a baby Cerberus in a way. Lots of mid-jungle focus. Bot lane is a really strong, consistent. And then they kind of just Sehin's kind of just there. Sorry, Sehin, you're not very... Oh, sorry, not even Sehin. Ryuk. You're just not there. You don't do anything. You just rock up occasionally on a Renekton and press W. That's it. That's what you do. Now I have a top laner. Now I have the best AD carry and a much better support. Yeah, it's BTS but better.
Fair enough. But BTS, but better. That's not terrible. Though, of course, I think there was a pretty big gap between second and third.
Oh, but that was that BTS.
I know. I'm just saying you'd have to do a bit of an upgrade. Rebel, what do you think about your team? How do you think you match up?
My team
Justify some of your
is
picks.
my team is perpetual playoff qualifier and literally will never win a championship in 100 years. This is like we got Coded.
Pretty
Coded's number 4, right? He's never number 5 or further down, but he's never encroaching on top 3, right? That's just gonna happen. Blazes to me is gonna fall into the same thing where Blazes is like perpetual top 4, but never considered the best mid laner. Shogun to me is like also right in that kind of avenue where it's like Shogun's really good, but not good enough to be like top of the top tier, especially against like the ADC pool we have. Ron OP is like a top tier support. Ego's top tier jungler. That's why consistently they're going to be at the top of the game, but they never have the firepower to like. This isn't a team that's going to go to Worlds and like make it to like semifinals or something. This is a team that's like they might make like a run where they get like a championship once and go to MSI and have like a good game, but that's the best they can hope for.
Yeah.
Which is why Yashiro got added to this roster, because if Yashiro could pull out like one of the 2 pentakill type performances he had in VCSB, then all of a sudden you have a superstar like Artemis clone that gets thrown onto the roster, and then things
you're
get
talking about like going to MSI and maybe having a couple of good games. CB LOL, VCSB, similar level.
That's fair. Yeah. If Yashiro
just wanted to get one in there.
I mean, that's what it's for. It's possible Yashiro is completely worthless here, right? Like, I could have taken Celebrity and gotten kind of a similar effect, but it's just a question of, like, is Yashiro's, like, ceiling higher? And we don't know, which is why you get to take him.
I actually think your team is better than you think, because...
I don't think it's a bad team. I think it's a great team. I just don't think it's ever going to be like a consistent. It's not like GAM that just perpetually wins everything.
I think it's a very, very much upgraded luxury, right? We have basically the same top side. Ego is a different player than Killer Queen, but the playstyles can be compared. And then we have a much, much, much better bot lane than whatever Vit and Vit and CBL is. So I actually think your team could... If Coated is on, because the problem with Coated is always he's a coin flip. So if Coated is on one of his good streaks, good month, then you could contend for the title. If Coated is inting, then your team kind of falls apart. So a lot hinges on the top lane there.
I mean, also, you haven't really addressed the fact that you have Ego, who is, at worst, the second best jungler.
And you have Ego Ronopi combo, which is insane. Like they ran the show.
This is true.
In the early game.
I just want to say also, when it came to my first pick, I actually thought about this for a while because I was like, okay, I don't know whether to go Ego or Levi. And for a moment, I was actually leaning on Taki. And if I had the chance to go back and fix this, I would have selected Taki at 2 probably. Because I wanted to build a team around Taki more than I wanted to build it around Ego, and I was banking on Taki making it back to my pick instead of anybody else. But unfortunately, Carrick stole it from me, and that was upsetting. So,
Taki is the main character of the best clip that VCS English has ever produced.
Taki!
So I love it. Taki!
That wasn't being bad, was.
No, he absolutely was ridiculous.
Oh, no. Sorry,
that was he interrupted 2 dashes within about 4 frames of each other. It was insane.
I was thinking of a different clip where he was just wandering through the jungle like a dickhead.
No, this was an insane Alistair.
Better than BJ.
That was BJ.
Yeah, I think that was
That was BJ all split last.
Yeah, I wonder who would draft him.
Wanna pay with an honorable mention on amazing clips, because
that thresh.
I mean, to be fair, that was less like, I'm more talking about like the casting, because that was my favorite casting moment. While in that Ron OP clip, I think Milky just kind of, his brain exploded. So the casting's not bad by anything. It's still great.
Justifiably so, I think.
The highlight.
I mean, I was casting that game, so that sticks to me more. So
yeah, fair. That was such an absurd hook. Oh my god. Anyway, your way. Let's move on to you. Justify your team. Tell us how they'd play.
Actually, do you have... I have players from all 4 top teams mixed together. I kind of like that. So, I think my weakest point is probably Elio. If he's back in form from last year, actually he wasn't great on winter, but in spring he was quite strong. So I'm kind of banking on the fact that he could maybe get back to that level. And then Elio and Aomine together, a very strong bot lane. We have Kiaya. No further explanations
Yeah,
needed.
best top laner.
Best top laner in the league is going to win every single laning phase. We have Yado, the best mid laner, with the best champion pool for the current meta. Can play all the control mages. And then Killer Queen as the X Factor, kind of. So just to create early play. So I think I have 3 strong lanes and then a very aggressive jungler. This could be a very explosive team. My main carries, I'd say, in the late game are probably Yado, Aomine, and if I want to go early game composition, it's more Aomine, Kiaya, or Killer Queen and Kiaya together in topside. So multiple playstyles, hopefully possible. Maybe not the strongest late game. I mean, actually, I'm not too concerned about the late game. I think my team fighting is probably pretty strong. There might be some issues with topside, with Yado playing a little bit too lane focused.
Can I introduce a little wrinkle I can spot?
Please.
You have Yado and Killer Queen. As soon as they lose one game, you lose the split.
I think a second major wrinkle is you ban Leona and Elio goes, I have no champions left.
No.
Here's Bards.
You see, I ban Leona for my team because I hate Elias Leona. He's actually so much better on Enchanters. He just never plays Enchanters. So if I were in charge, I would just ban Leona from my player because he shouldn't be allowed to play Leona. His Leona isn't actually that great. Do we talk about subs right now or later?
No, you can talk about your sub. Rebel went into detail about Yashiro. I think Marby didn't bother talking because it's just...
I mean, yeah, it's obvious.
Actually...
If I was being a bit more serious, I might have gone Yoshino for my sub. Yeah. But as is, I kind of like... I like what Pos are working with, so...
Yeah, the evidence is pretty good. Just put Pos on the bench and your top laner levels up 2 levels or something.
Exactly.
So, Marcus, for me, is one of the main players to watch. Unfortunately, Flash once again picked up a mid laner, so I'm a little bit scared that he might not see a lot of play this split, but I'm hoping they put Yoshino in mid lane again and Marcus in top lane, because I was very impressed with Marcus. And another reason to pick Marcus here is in the sub is he can play mid lane and top lane, or allegedly at least. So whenever Yado or Kiaya are having issues, a bad day, maybe COVID, who knows, whatever, for whatever reason they need to be subbed, Marcus can slot it into either position. So that's another nice little thing Marcus provides. Yeah, and I'm just hyped for this player. I think he's one of the most interesting prospects to follow, and one of the top laners, up-and-coming top laners for the next, let's say, year, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. So, if we're ready to move on to my team, I just picked the best player in every role. You guys kind of just let that through.
Have Slater.
What an insane statement, man. Oh my.
It's Cardi.
Look.
Yeah,
memes aside,
2 years ago.
Memes aside, I think I have a top 3 player in every role, with Slater being a bit more of a question mark. Hazmed, I don't think there's any argument that he's a top 3 top laner.
True.
Like, okay, yeah, Saigon Buffalo last split was pretty bad, but it was never Hazmed's fault. Levi's the best jungler in the league.
No.
You know, Ego could usurp that, but currently he is still the best jungler in the league, in my opinion. Cardi is a top 3 mid laner, admittedly kind of on the back of VCS mid laners not being that good. Slater, he's a question mark because, of course, he is a returning player. He took a split off because he's an idiot. And if he picks Kai'Sa, he's bad, but he always picks Kai'Sa. But I have faith in a coach telling him what to pick. I think he's a good player, and I think Taki is. If the Buffalo can refine their form, refine the shot calling, I think Taki's the best support in the league. And I'm not. That's not a joke. I actually do genuinely think mechanically he's the best support in the league, and game sense wise. So I think I don't think my team meshes quite as well. I think you guys definitely went a little bit more.
It's
for the
just win
approach
lane,
of-
win game every game.
of like, I'm going to pick a team that comes together, while I was kind of thinking a more traditional fantasy thing where I'm just like, these guys will have good stat.
Yeah.
But I do think I've still ended up with a good team. I think if you have, like, Levi loves playing around topside. Slater, Taki, that's, you can put the sticky tape over that lane. You can tell Levi that lane doesn't exist because Taki will just constantly roam. Slater, pick Ezreal, play super safe, play around topside, easy peasy, win the league.
No. I'm hyped for your bot lane
And then
against
BJ's there.
Marby's bot
Then
lane.
BJ's there.
Give me just a 2v2 of Marby's bot lane against Carrick's bot lane. That's some hype
thanks.
2v2. Artemis B against Slater Taki. Let's go.
That would be a bloodbath.
I was very confused by your BJ pick. I mean,
I think, look, BJ just has the potential to get his form back.
yeah, I
That's
was
literally all it is.
I wanted him as my sub because I'm not super high on Drakthar, particularly in the champion portrait department.
Yeah, that's fair.
High Rebel.
Disrespect.
But Slater, kind of an unknown. I would have expected like a div kid or a style, even a celebrity as like a backup option.
Yeah, look, the reason I took BJ is I think he could return to form. Like, realistically, again, I treated it as a bit more of a fantasy team rather than an actual team. You'd never sub BJ in for Levi. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think, there's a decent chance that it was just an off split. The winter split's weird. There's enough weird things going on in the world that, maybe BJ was just knocked off his game and he'll figure it back out in this split. I think, look, because BJ on form is up there with Ego and Levi. He's probably third out of the three, but I don't think he's a million miles behind. But yeah, I think we all ended up. I think we all did all right. We'll have to see how that plays out. That is something we can revisit.
The fact we didn't have to go for any of the bottom feeders helps.
Yeah, it does.
Does help
I like
a
that.
lot,
Dude,
yeah.
That's when drafts get more interesting, though. It's like when you get like 8 full teams, and all of a sudden you're picking between like No-Go and Jane as your starting mid laner. Like things get so much more interesting because now all of a sudden you're going crazy. Like what am I supposed to do here?
I mean, maybe at some point, maybe with some different guests, you can do a draft from the rest, so they can have fun.
Yeah. They just make them pick all the scraps. Yeah.
I will have a
really good
clockwork, cringy, eat what we don't want.
We'll have a really good day to carry. We'll have divs.
It's true. I mean, Divkid and Style didn't get picked.
Yeah, that was the big
To be
show.
fair, they're bad picks in a fantasy game because they split games. They're
Sure.
terrible picks.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I mean,
So, like,
ADC
let's
pool
move
is
on.
pretty strong right now. You
It's a
can
deep
still
pool.
go
It's hard to
down.
pick a bad AD.
Yeah, there's
is.
still Eddie, there's still Celebrity. Style is alright. You can go Easy Love, that's alright too. Like,
Yeah.
you,
The real trick to like an 8-team draft here, if we would have had 8 people on, is I would have not drafted an ADC until the 6th spot, and then I would have thrown
exactly.
Yashar on the list, and you guys would have been like, "What? How is he allowed to do that?" And then I just won because like he's just better than most of the ADCs. So
Sure.
The only
guy
ADC
that's never played in VCSA.
round would be Artemis. Like that's basically it. Because the rest are just all good.
yeah, if you get Artemis, it's a win. Other than that, you're shirking it until like 5th, 6th round because like all of them, they're pretty much dime a dozen at that point. Not that they're bad, but like most of them are decently within range of one another, right?
yeah, I think mid lane gets a lot more priority if you draft with more people.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
Oh yes.
You do
Oh,
not
yeah.
want to end up with any of the remaining ones.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
off the bat. But
Yeah.
So, shall we move out of the realm of fantasy
Mhm.
and actually look at the rosters for this?
Yeah.
And give. I don't think we want to go through a big power ranking thing. That's something we can do another time, like formally, but we can sort of informally just chat about it and stuff. I don't know if you can put it on screen your way. What are some of the big standout moves here? Let's leave SBTC out of that conversation just for a bit because like that's just a complete team rebuild. It's not individual changes. They're just completely different. Cerberus didn't change anything. Why would you? Garm didn't change anything. Why would you? What else is catching your eye, Marby?
So the big one is probably. Wait, let me look at this again. I mean, the real obvious big one is SBTC is a whole new thing.
Yeah, I think we'll discuss SBTC on their own because it's a whole new team. Is there any individual trades that have caught your eye?
CBL going to the side of luxury, I think, could be very exciting. Especially if Vit/Shiner are able to just play that weak side, play old Garm, and get CB out, get him on a Thresh or something, and link up with Killer Queen. He's hyper aggressive. CBL is pretty much the same. So that could be a very strong duo and could make a lot of things happen on the map. That's about the only really big change I see.
Rebel, anything catching your eye?
Yeah, just to touch on luxury, I think it's worthwhile saying CBL to me will be an upgrade outright. I'm a little upset they didn't go for another ADC as well. I know Vit didn't have particularly bad performances, but I think if they go and get if they go out and get like Big Koro or they get Slater or somebody like that, this
you
team
want to say
becomes a team that
Yashiro?
might
Just
be able
say
to be
Yashiro.
competitive. Yashiro.
Why is
I would say Yashiro in the background.
or Righty? Why is he splitting time with Eddie?
Or Righty, yeah, anything. And there's so many different options here. So to stay with Vit to me is a pretty big statement. To me, the most interesting part about this split is actually going to be Saigon. I feel like Saigon was two terribly misplayed series against the side of SPTC away from being ahead of Luxury or being ahead of Sky, and Sky was the third best team, right?
True.
They wouldn't have been the third best team. They probably would have placed fourth. But they were literally a team that was that much worse, probably a bottom two team at the end of the split. Out of nowhere, just beat them twice. So then they bring in Rival and they bring in P. I'm more interested in Rival. I think Rival is the interesting substitution because Bean J to me was the real problem last split. They were spending the entire split trying to figure out how to work Bean J and Froggy together. And to me, they tried so many strategies on Froggy, so many things to get him back into form, so to say, that they never really got him in a solid mindset of what he was doing. And Bean J just it felt like he never really got flack for it. I'm not saying Froggy had a good split. I don't think Froggy had a particularly good split. He was probably a bottom 3 mid laner last split pretty easily, if not even further down. But Bean J's split, I think, was a large part of that. So to me, Rival's the interesting addition as to whether or not he's going to be able to step in and do something for this team that arguably should be a top 3 team inside of this league.
So to me, I think the most interesting team is Flash. And I believe I power ranked them pretty highly, higher than most of the others who did the power ranking. I think I slotted them into 5th position, because the end of the winter split actually saw Flash look not good, but more decent than before. They weren't a complete walkover for the other teams, and now they picked up Slater. They seem to be going with Artie as their support, which is nice because he showed better performances. Dante was not great, but he got better over time, and they still have Marcus. So I'm still hoping for the Marcus Dante Yoshino lineup instead of Nogo. I mean, maybe Nogo is great, but if we have Yoshino in mid lane, who held his own more than anyone could have expected from a top laner. And then Marcus in top lane actually impressed me a lot. I talked about him earlier. Then we have 2 decent solo laners. We have Slater. If he's anything like the Slater who won back-to-back titles, then that's going to be a strong side for the team. So you actually have 3 very strong carries. Dante and Artie, yes, they are the weak points, but maybe sophomore split, they can come together and actually learn a lot from Slater, learn a lot from Yoshino and so on. So I'm hopeful for this team. I think they're going to be stronger than people expect. And I hope they never play Ikigai, because I hate his name. I hate his name.
He's pretty icky guy.
My brain autocorrects it to Ikage, because I think it would be better.
Ikigai means... yeah, it's like...
If it's any consolation to you, his name did used to be was it Tokisaki when he was on Percent? Because he was on Percent as a recruit back in the day alongside, I think it was Ryuk. He and Ryuk were together as the top jungle for the recruit roster. and he was really good. Like they were like really competitive back then. So I'm pretty excited for Ikigai. I agree with you. If I have to say that name ever, I'm just not going to be able to. It's not going to happen. But yeah, I think Dante had an okay split. But if Ikigai is showing enough inside of scrims, I'd like to see them play around with the prospect of using him as well.
Ikigai means something like it's worth to do. It's like worth living for, or worth doing.
Oh, so his name's YOLO. Sweet, I'm gonna call him that.
Kind of. This is kind of similar to that. Maybe not quite. I hate this name. Or maybe he's referencing some anime character I don't know, but
Look,
Perhaps.
I mean,
if it's an anime character, you would know it. You're King Weeb.
it's still not.
Bold statement.
I still won't hate the name as much as I hate Aomina.
At least that's actually a character. At least that's a character.
The name on its own is okay.
Can I am just gonna jump in and absolutely torpedo any discussion of anime. That's not happening. I may not be controlling the stream today, but I will EMP Berlin to turn this stream off if I have to.
Can I end the discussions with the fact that if I go professional, I will rename myself to Ushijima Wakatoshi just for all of you to enjoy what that's going to be. So
I
don't know what that means. So
good.
Same.
Well, I'm coming to the VCS, so have fun.
Oh no. Anyway, for me, I sort of agree. I think Flash is the one to watch. I'm disappointed that they didn't find a replacement for Dante. I think Dante was awful. I don't think he got better towards the end. I mean, sure, he wasn't. He got better, but we are comparing falling down the stairs to being in a heap at the bottom of the stairs. Like, that is technically better, because you're not currently being injured. It's not good, though. I think he's pretty terrible. Sophomore split, look, it is possible, because, I mean, the mental on Flash last split was not good, to say the least.
Yes.
So, maybe things get better. I am sorry for the screaming of my prisoner. He is put in gay baby jail, and he will remain there. He cannot BOJ his way out.
Goblin.
Look at him. Oh my god, I love your cat. But anyway, let's move on to SBTC, because I know a few of you wanted to touch on that, but I think we all want to talk about it. They have just rebuilt their lineup. Way, I'll start with you on this time. What do you think? How do you think it's come together? Is third time the charm?
It might be. It does look pretty decent, I'd say. It's kind of similar to what an A-fans always deem the CLG approach, just picking up a lot of... Yeah, I know. But picking up all the veterans left, so you build a decent but not contender teams, because all these veterans have seen their best years are behind them, so to speak. They do have 2T and Enper as the solo laners, which might be interesting as then as maybe a new wind, a second wind in terms of solo lane talent. But yeah, DNK Palette Celebrity is a decent core. I think they should be okay fighting for players, but probably not making for players.
I'm just hoping Paulette just it hinges on, was Flash just killing the guy? Like, were they taking him out the back and beating him? That's why he looks so terrible? Because, Paulette looked awful these last two splits. Maybe back in with a few more people he knows. I don't know his relationship with Celebrity or DNK, but they are both long-standing veterans. He probably has some rapport. Maybe that's just what it needs.
No, Palette just needs a new team every split.
And they need to not let him play Yumi. That's a big rule. Don't let him do it.
Or
Don't
Rakan.
let him touch the cat. Okay. Let's not talk about Rakan from Palette. That brings back some bad memories.
100% viable. Go for it.
I mean, the thing for the interesting thing about SBTC for me is I think this is them going with a different approach. I think their last two lineups have been win the split. I think that's been their goal. I don't think it was realistic either times, but I definitely think looking at it, they were like, we have put together a team that should make the finals, if not win them. I don't think they have this time. I think this is SBTC as an organization, as a coaching staff, realizing we've had 2 runs at it. The first one was the most comically terrible split of all time. The second one, at least no one went to jail, even though it didn't work out. A real thing we can say. I think this time, this is a middling roster. I think they'll be a dark horse to make playoffs. They could take 4th if one of the other teams that we would expect falls off a little bit. I think they could steal a 4th. They could take wins against the top teams every now and then, sort of maybe play spoiler for like your Garm and your Cerberus in terms of who comes first. But that's about all I'm expecting from the SBTC lineup.
Yeah. My position, I think, was perfectly summed up with what you just said, which is that this feels like a team that could take games off of Cerberus or Gam or Sky or Luxury or any of the other top teams. This also feels like a team that could like easily just absolutely out of nowhere drop a series to like Flash, and we would not be surprised by it. It feels like a team with that much variance to it. I will say I think their new lineup is better than Team Secret's lineup. I don't know how crazy that is to all of you, whether or not that's even a point of discussion between all of you. That's how I see it. I will say their solo lanes are at least my biggest question mark, because I feel like their solo lanes are going to be a hindrance far more than anything.
Yeah, 100%.
I think Celebrity Palette's going to be fine. I think DNK is great, but 2T and Emperor are not the 2 I would pick. You don't want to start me down the Kiko mid lane like mindset, because 2T came over from Gam, but like there's another better mid lane prospect, but I'm not going to talk about that because it's not worth it. But I think you're right to say SBTC is chasing a playoff spot, but that's probably as best they're going to get.
I also, I'm going to bring out my tried and true point about DNK. Can you guess what I'm about to say?
Who's going first?
Exactly. And that's where I think not having good solo lanes.
Zed jungle?
It's Palette. It's Palette that's going.
Yeah, but Palette's bad.
Yes, but it's Palette first. And
in theory, sure. But I feel like that's not actually like I think Team Secret is stronger than SBTC. I definitely think they're like competing with each other. That's the tier. I would put them on the same tier, no question. But I do think Team Secret has come out ahead. Admittedly, Artifact is cursed. To always look like he always passes the eye test, but he doesn't get to win games. So Team Secret is just not going to win. But yeah, I just think SBTC just doesn't have the solo lanes. I have no faith in Emperor and 2T, but hey, I might be wrong.
Do you want to address the mega sub for SBTC?
Spot. So my thing with Spot is that he was banned before I started watching VCS. So I just don't care about him. Because from my point of view, everything is just like, oh yeah, he's just an enormous piece of shit, but he's a good jungler. Huge piece of shit, but good jungler. And I'm like, okay, so he's a piece of shit that I've never seen play. I don't care about you. If he comes in and he rocks a split, suddenly I care. Until he does that, okay, whatever, it's Spot.
The thing is, he's like very hyped. Everyone's like, oh, it's Spot. And like, maybe he looked insane pre-ban, but every time I've seen him VCSB, I'm just like, what? He's okay. He's not that impressive. He's just kind of okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's fine. Like, he's not bad by any means, but like people are coming in here and being like, he's better than Levi. He's the best thing that Vietnam's ever produced. It's like, I mean, God, guys. At that point, that's borderline racist to Vietnamese people.
But at best, he's a side grade.
Yeah.
It might be a different playstyle and it might mesh better, but I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's worth talking about, really.
You know what is worth talking about this split? The fact that we have our ADC lineup this split is absurd. It's really Artemis, strong. Divkid, Aomine, Vit, Shogun, Eddie, Celebrity, Slater. Like Vit is probably the worst ADC, and he was on the 4th place team last split. And you replace it with a Riot, and who's bad? There's an ADC you can call bad in that group.
Genuinely, when you're sitting there and saying the bottom tier ADCs is like Vit, Eddie, and
Celebrity.
Slade is a question mark. Like, how... I know you want to get a point in, Marvin, I will let you, but I just want to go to your way. How much of a change is that?
Yeah,
Do
ADC
you
was
remember
dreadful.
the old memes about VCS ADCs? We had one. We had
Yeah.
Artemis.
No, Artemis wasn't even there when we started. It was just Slater.
True.
Everyone else was trash. Artemis was chained behind Slater. He wasn't even seeing the light of day. We had to look at celebrity trolling with Tristana and Worlds, almost losing the game. They were sure to win against Damwon.
God,
Yeah,
Damwon
that game
don't
existed.
even-
Yes.
Happy Nagiri.
It is that game is simultaneously a massive source of positive memes because Hani clapped Nuguri and we beat Damwon, but also God, you had to watch Koro play that Tristana. He had like 20
No,
kills.
celebrity.
Celebrity. He had like 20 kills and did nothing.
He actively entered.
He was awful.
He
but,
was really bad.
Let's not throw our mind back that far. The time when they left Pantheon open when it had 100% ban rate. Good job, guys.
Beat Damwon, lose to C. Wasn't even PCS at the time. Element was well and truly separate from that shit.
Yeah, it wasn't. Oh, God. Anyway, let's focus on the present, not the past. Yeah, I mean, the bot lane pool's insane. I kept cutting you off, Marby. What was the point you wanted to make?
I think going off, I just said, I think celebrities in there is that bottom tier, and I'm just mad that Divkid and Style are on the same team. Eddie and Ariety are both on the same team. They're not as good as the two Garm ADCs, I don't think, but they are both very young and both kind of deserve to be on get that shot. And Vit and Shine, just luxury. You shelled out for CBL, but you couldn't bother getting him an actual partner.
Yeah.
Man, come on, man.
But I mean, I don't think Vit's awful. He's probably the worst ADC, but he's not terrible.
Eh.
Meh.
Okay.
He was
fine.
catching on Jin quite a lot.
He's not Shine, okay? The
He's
best
not-
thing about Vit is he's not Shine.
That is true.
I still think Shine got pushed out way too quickly. I think
No.
everyone forgets just how horrid Bisbo was. Like, you know how bad it is to play in that lane with Bisbo? Like, Shine certainly wasn't good, but, like, I want to give him credit for having the ability to play with Bisbo for a whole split, because anyone else would have gotten mental boom immediately.
It's true. The fact that there was no homicide in that team does show the mental fortitude of Shine.
The big thing is, though, the problem with both these ADCs is we saw Shine subbed in a lot to play Jinx, which means Vit's not good at Jinx. Now that might have changed over the offseason. He's had a lot more time to practice it, whatever. But
Shine isn't
We-
either.
we didn't get to see Shine with H3, and it was still crap.
Yes.
And again, Garm, stop doing that thing where you pick a role and go, yes, I will take all of these. Stop doing it.
Yeah, I do wish they'd give up one of their ADCs because they're both good. It's not fair that either Style or Divkid is constantly on the bench. They are both starting ADC level, and I just let them play, guys. Just pick one. I don't care which. You should probably pick Divkid, but I don't care if you pick Style. He's still good. Is there anything else we want to comment on?
I want to ask a really important question, right? This is a pretty top-notch analytical question for all of you fine folks here, right? Currently, Cerberus is sitting with they have their main roster, but their backup roster is Pos, Fuquan, Jane, Puddin, and Hugh. Is that team the 9th best team, or are they not the worst team in the VCS? I have to legitimately ask this question.
I am about to throw a bold statement. They're top 4.
What?
Wait.
All right, that sounds unsubstantiated, but I can appreciate the shock value at a minimum.
Do they have the same coaching staff?
Presumably.
I genuinely...
Need I remind you of the last time Cerberus played their sub-roster, Carrix?
They didn't.
You made a point.
Those
Yo,
players
yeah.
They are the 10th best team.
were much worse. That included
see-
Cisco, as far as I recall.
No,
I
Zelda
see your
Super.
bold statement.
Oh,
I
that's
see
even
your bold
worse.
statement. Hey, Huber was
Look,
good when he was subbing in for
Shock,
That's true.
shock value
Like,
aside, I think Poss is actually fine. Like he had that one terrible game that was also his debut, so everyone remembers it. But
Yeah.
the other times he came in, he was fine.
He's fine.
I don't actually know anything about Jane and Puddin. You're the one that tracks all the rookies, but I think Huber's really good. I think Huber's underrated.
Definitely.
That solid core. No idea about. I think I've seen Jane this
So
season.
memes aside, I think they could be better than Flash.
Hey, Flash is not the worst team in the league anymore. You have not looked at the roster.
Sorry, last split Flash. It'd be
Okay.
better than Flash.
Yeah, that's not a very high
That
bar.
I can buy. That I can buy. Yeah. For logic's sake, I think it's worth saying. I think they could take games off of any of the bottom 3 teams, but I don't think they consistently beat any of them.
Agreed.
For shock value, I think they are a top 4 team in the world. That's right.
I mean, to be fair,
Better than Kobe.
yeah, exactly. The rest of the world is shit, so who cares?
This is true.
Marby, do you have a hot take, or just want to just say they're bad because it's a sub team? You can just say no, you guys are dumb.
I think that actual core of Pos, Fuquan, and Cuba is actually solid and
Yeah,
could
it's pretty good.
land a like 6th place. I just don't know enough about Jane and Puddin to really confirm that. So
Not
That-
Kiko, not
Who
not
chooses
Jerome,
the names
so
of these
doesn't matter.
players, Ben? Who?
nothing wrong with Puddin.
There's a lot wrong with Puddin.
Oh, yes.
I'm not the Joker, baby. Anyway, moving swift on. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? Anything else you guys want to bring up?
Let's end with just a very quick prediction of first half MVP.
Artemis.
Artemis.
As usual.
Can we say first half?
Why
Can
was
we
that
say
a
first half MVP minus Artemis, please? Just because. Listen, if you were like, hey, make a prediction for MVP, Artemis. No, first half, Artemis. No, second, Artemis. No, playoff, Artemis. It's Artemis.
Okay.
Not Artemis.
How about
Pick
this?
any other
Who
player
said
than
Artemis
How about
first?
this?
We can't agree. We have to pick different players.
Yeah, we have to disagree with each other.
So
Can
one
we-
of you gets to pick Artemis and be quiet for the next minutes. I don't know.
Well, no. We'll say we all.
No
think
one
it's
picks
Artemis. We
All of us
all
pick
think it's Artemis. Who's second? And we're not allowed to agree.
There we go.
So, Marby, I'll let you start.
Okay. Glory. I'm gonna go with Glory.
Ah, you took away my pick.
And I'm-
It's not fair.
So basically, once you remove Artemis, you're looking at the rest of Cerberus and going, well, they can't be MVP. Artemis is there. But no, I think BTS rely a lot on like kind of live and die by Glory. Almina is a very solid rock and will carry a few of the games that Glory doesn't stand up in. But that guy, if he pops off, they become a very, very strong team. It's like comfortable third when Glory's on. If Glory's off, then they're around that 4th, 5th, and it's sort of a bit more of a struggle. So I really think if BTS shines, it's gonna be straight through that mid laner, and when he pops up, that man is I love him. He's good. It's very good.
All right. Next up, whichever one of you says it first, you get it.
I mean, there's one very obvious one, but I don't want to go for it. So,
Levi.
yeah, exactly. But let's say
Mock my choice.
Slater.
Later.
Slater, fair
Yeah.
enough. I mean, if he bounces back,
Yeah.
And this
I
is
think if he bounces back, there's every chance that he will just be incredible.
yeah, and this is
I
not to
think-
say that Flash is going to be a top 4 team, but I think if they
Yeah.
end up 5th in the first half, or maybe even 4th, and then fall off a little bit later, it's probably due to Slater carrying most of the games, and some of the other players are going to be decent or better, or have to be for them to be this high. But it probably has to be Slater that finishes the games, the team fights, brings the firepower, the star power. So maybe if Flash has a good start and Slater can get back to some of his 2020 form, could be his at least half of the split to come back.
So I will say, while we are wrapping things up, if you're in chat and you have any little questions you want us to address on the way out, do feel free to chuck them in. We will. I am watching chat, so don't worry. Rebel, you can't have the two that have been named. Who's your pick?
I'm gonna give one that I think might come as a tiny surprise. I'm gonna say Hosmet.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
So, I think, in my opinion, if you take what was effectively top level of what Saigon Buffalo is capable of doing, I actually think they might have been better than GAM at a lot of points last split. I don't think GAM had a particularly good split. That's not a discussion on GAM. But I think if Saigon can approach anywhere near that level, especially in what the current meta can actually provide for both like Shogun, but also necessarily for top lane, I think Hosmed's going to have to do more work because I think Shogun's good, but I don't think he's like Artemis level. So I think if Saigon Buffalo is on and they're like beating teams at the top level again, I think a lot of it's going to be on Housemed's hands. So
don't you think Taki is more likely?
I think Taki's good. I just think that it's more likely that a top laner is going to get an MVP than a support. That's just usually going to be the case, unfortunately.
The VETV approach.
The everywhere approach.
Supports aren't good. I don't know what to tell you.
Apart from
Support's stuck
LEC,
at the
because
game.
every single LEC cast has a support main, so they give support all the credit.
God, it's really annoying.
Yes.
I mean, look, it's the easiest role. They're just boosted.
True.
They should play a real man's role like top lane.
Okay, Jana.
Yeah. Look, one quick comment on the Jana thing. Just I don't want to turn into a whole discussion because hopefully it's not a thing in VCS.
It's never gonna be.
Exactly. I don't think it's going to be a thing in VCS. I just want to put it out. I'm just saying, Riot is making a fighting game. The easiest solution, when you log into top lane, it just launches Project L. You play a 1v1 against the other top laner. Whoever wins, their team gets 8,000 gold and both top laners disconnect and just move on. That's the easiest way to solve it. Top lane's not a real role. Anyway, moving on. I mean, my pick's Levi. Someone's got to say it. He's cracked. He's really good. He's good. He get lots of MVP votes. I don't even think I need to justify it.
Absolutely
really
not.
good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
He's the obvious choice for sure.
He's the best player on the second best team. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to circle back really quick because this is super important to me now because I'm gonna hyperfixate on this. If a top laner in this league were to bring out Smite Janna, who would it be?
Pun.
Who's the top laner? Pun? You think Pun would do it?
Pun or
I don't
Kiaya?
know. No, definitely not Kiaya. I think there is literally a 0% chance it'll be Kiaya.
Kiaya might.
Nah.
So hear me out, right? I think the only chance of this happening is a one-off. I think it's got to be a lesser team. I think it's Nagia. I think Nagia goes, this is a Smite Janna angle. They play it once, get destroyed, and never play it again. And that's our hope for seeing it once.
I think Yoshino's the
angle.
most likely because he has the most.
I think there's an angle for a couple of the bad top laners, in air quotes, to be looking across from like Kiaya and being like,
You're not playing this.
I don't really want to get fucking solo killed.
Kiaya Ergot. I'm out of
here.
here.
No thanks, man. I'm just gonna leave. I think there's a chance of that. The real question is, we're gonna round out with this one. Odds on, when do we get the no top laner match? Do we get a Janna v Zillion top laner when they both take Smite?
Yes, please. No. Yes, please.
Because that has happened in solo queue. I've seen VODs where both top laners have just left. And it's just minions hitting each other.
I think realistically in pro, it's an R5 strategy, and that's it.
Probably. God. It has been played in professional play. It was played in Prime League.
But it was up against
LVP as well, I believe. Yeah.
I mean, the very funny thing was the Ornn took Grasp.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I remember the picture.
Good job,
You want to know? You want to know how this happens? I guarantee I know how this happens if it happens in this league. Is the double top laner leaving, right? This is like a random game of either probably Ryuk, Yoshino, or Nagia, one of these clowns deciding, hey, I'm not playing against Hazmet in lane. He's going to pick Aatrox. I'm going to get smashed. I'm going to pick Smite Janna. And then they're just like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick Senna. We're going to put it with a top laner in the bottom lane. That's where Hazmet's going. And we're putting Taki on Bard top lane, and Taki's just going to roam the map like he always does anyway.
Okay.
And that's how we get it. If we get it, that's how it's going to happen.
Angle. That's a strong
You're hyping
angle.
me too much, Kid Rebel, please. There was a Senna in that
If we see
session.
Saigon get Senna with like Hazmet bot lane and Taki's top with Smite, I'm going to lose my mind. It's going to be all over the place.
Could see it as well as a sort of angle. If someone like picks a Gragas early as their top laner, you can do Smite Gragas. It's not quite as effective as the Janna, but it functions the same.
It's true.
So, you can just go roaming Gragas, because hey, why not? Gragas is just a 3-point wonder, really.
It's true.
It's good, but...
But I think we can wrap things up there. Thanks everyone for tuning in to another episode of Good Morning Vietnam. As usual, a little bit scuffed. We're busy. Things are going on. We've only just come out of the winter split and out of the hyperbolic time chamber to get ready for the spring. But my name's been Carrix. With me has been Yue, Rebel Fox, and Marbanogi, the smartest people we could find on short notice. And this Friday, VCS is back. Don't miss it. See ya.